Yo, mic check. Ugh, 2 seconds, y'all. Good morning. Talking some college football hot topics. Bama recruiting. On our way to the gym. Good to see everybody in the chat, man. Pulling up live, post live. Y'all just let me know how y'all enjoy this. This is kind of a test. Um, I was trying to have the different angles set up instead of having this tall. We'll rock with this one. Are we back? My Wi-Fi is still reaching. I'm like a block away from the crib. Are we back? Yeah, we back. So yeah, um, should be a pretty interesting final finale of announcements for recruiting early commits for Bama in the coming days. Got 2 announcements being made today by a few targets. As you all saw, Cedric Simmons got flipped the other day. We talked about that flip last week. Not necessarily him, but we talked about the wide receiver room getting another star, in-state talent. We talked about that last week on the live morning show, right after the day after prior committed. But I want to talk about something else though when it comes to Alabama recruiting. So if you think about the way that everything has transpired over the past three seasons. Nah, we're not running this morning. Good morning though. Good morning. We're getting on our way to the gym, walking to the gym. But if you think about how the last few seasons under Kalen DeBoer is going, when it comes to recruiting and just the roster, building that roster, right? You look at what he did that first year with retaining those guys coming over from the Saban class. It's not crazy to believe that these next few classes will have opportunities to be on the field because his freshman class will be gone. ZB, Ryan, that class will be gone. So in a sense, it's like because of how the transition happened, DeBoer has had to play 3 years ahead. So retaining a lot of the talent on the roster from Coach Saban's era, as good as it should have been, we saw the different type of personnel, misconceptions, and all of these things that were kind of exposed over the last 2 seasons. And the way that Ryan Grubb wants to play call for the offense, personnel wise, Coach Saban's roster, quote unquote, players weren't made for that. And defensively, how Kane Womack wants to dial up pressures. He had to change up the type of personnel that he was used to having for his defensive scheme. Had to get a lot taller, a lot more, I guess you could say, a lot more girth on the interior of the defensive line without sacrificing your speed, your lateral quickness, and your pass rush ability from the interior. You know, and you're seeing those type of guys, and he even started extending those type of guys. We saw James Smith play a lot of bandit last season. I was watching some games from Bama last year, and the bandit in the on the D line is basically the true defensive end. And to me, James Smith is more effective, or should be more effective on the interior. His frame, his body, his skill set fits being an interior pass rusher. And so when I think about it, and I look at what he does defensive line wise, Coach Womack, that is the defensive coordinator, the type of stunts and things that you like to see from an athletic front, you couldn't do it with guys like James Smith and Tim Keenan being your interior edge combo, right? So you had to get a lot more athletic, had to get a lot taller, had to get a different build. Uh, I guess you could say archetype defensive end, and that's why you're going to get Tompkins. Hold on, y'all. My bad, y'all. I had a phone call. Hopefully, we back. But we you got a lot to look forward to with the defensive line rotation. Now that you're going to see guys like Terrence Green on the interior, Jeremiah Beam is back. You got London Simmons back on that interior rotation. Asaya Fager, Steve Bowler's on the interior. You got the young guys, Mari. I think Mari Johnson going to be a huge impact across the defensive line rotation. And what you see across the D-line, even with Fatua Henry, I think is going to be a solid bandit. Wolf, he could be a wolf too. But you got such a solid rotation on the front that now you're going to be able to see the aggressive nature that Kane Womack wants to dial the defense up with. And I keep telling y'all this, and I say this, it's a big conversation that I'm pretty sure will be had throughout the season as people continue to, as the season comes along and we see this team develop. If they develop the trajectory, I expect them to, right? Just as you see football for so long, certain aspects and certain tendencies continue to show up, right? And when I look at it, I say this: if Alabama's defensive line can create the type of pressures that they were creating around the midpoint of the season last year, this team, I don't even think it'll be an offensive. I think the quarterback situation is going to figure itself out. You know, everybody knows my thoughts on it. How I think Keelan Russell is the guy, but I think whoever it is, the offense is going to be balanced. At a minimum, balanced. And when you have a balanced offense, you can win games. You can keep yourselves out of bad situations when you're balanced, right? It's when you're one dimensional and that team that you play against shows up and they can take that one dimension away from you. That's when you're in trouble. So as long as we're balanced, which I think with all the quarterback options, you could be balanced. I'm not going to put as much confidence into the true freshmen. But as far as Keelan and Austin, I think we could stay balanced regardless of who starts. Now, being explosive, I think Russell's the guy. Do we want balance or we want explosion? do we want, that's the question with the quarterback situation. But I think that's all going to evolve around the defense and the defensive front and how they create momentum for the team in general. What we're able to do defensively, Alabama is able to do defensively. And it starts in recruiting. We roll back, man. This defensive line group that's coming up, London Simmons is going to be a veteran presence with the second guys of Mari Johnson and all those guys. Asaya Fager is going to be a veteran presence. All of these guys are going to be a veteran presence next season as this young talented groups from the 27 and 28 class, stack in and begin to develop. So, hey, good morning. And so I laugh and I say, for the fans that are, continuing to discredit Kalen DeBoer's recruiting and his staff's recruiting as if they've missed, you're still talking about a class right now with the amount of commits in this class. If this class was to commit, I think they end up being a top 15 class. Just being honest, top 15, top 10, right down the edge of top 10, because a lot of these guys in this recruiting class that's committed to Alabama right now, you're talking about 3 stars with high ratings. These are not low rated 3 stars. So I look at it and I just count up all the factors that we've seen happen before. We've seen Coach Saban have classes, starting off in the recruiting ratings, when everything's all hype, everybody's paying attention to recruiting ratings. We've seen Coach Saban have classes that be in the top 20, they'd be 21, 22. And then right before early signing day, good morning. Right before early signing day, you'll see, how a lot of those ratings and rate change for a lot of these guys, because now that they got some national attention after an offer with a few more eyes on them. Now we're seeing how good they quote unquote have always been, right? So I just kind of I like to encourage fans to slow down, pump the brakes a little bit, and just let it all play out. Because at the end of the day, we've seen Kalen DeBoer develop guys. Come, you saw Coach Saban. Let's do this comparison real quick, y'all, and then I'm gonna transition up out of here. Let's do this comparison. Kalen DeBoer, while Coach Saban was coaching, right, and had a roster with Caleb Downs, who's the first round draft pick, Seth McLaughlin, Caden Proctor, who else? You got a lot of first round draft picks that Coach Saban had his hands on this roster when they lost to Michigan, right? The year Michigan won the national championship. Kalen DeBoer, tell me who on that roster. How many 5 stars, 4 stars? I don't care what class they came. How many were on that roster? Please tell me. And in that, I ain't even got to take it that. I don't even got to take it further than that. So if he was able to take a team like Washington and say what you want about the schedule and who they had to beat, they got in the playoffs and they won 2 playoff games, or they won. Actually, yeah, he won a playoff game and was playing for a national championship. He got into the conference and was playing for the conference championship his first year there. I think we got to put some respect on Kalen DeBoer and his ability to assemble a staff that knows how to build a roster at minimum, knows how to get guys on the field that know how to play the game of football at a high rate. He knows how to win. Did it at Fresno. He did it at the NAIA level, right? So the gentleman knows how to find success. I think we need to chill out, Bama fans. All right, college football talk real quick. We're talking about future matchups. Yesterday, Ohio State. I love talking Ohio State football because I got a lot of ties to Ohio State all of a sudden out of nowhere. Didn't realize how many Ohio State friends and family members I have all of a sudden. But Ohio State Bama matchup next year, man. I think that's gonna be a crazy one for the books. You're talking about a possible year 2 of Kalen DeBoer, Keelan, Shadarius Morgan offense. Is Xavier Crowell running back with AK Deer another year under his belt? A couple of these freshman guys coming in. Sonny Gales, I believe he sticks through this commitment class, this recruiting class. So, like, just a bunch of big names. Dijon Lee will be in his junior year, senior guy, a veteran presence in the secondary, full of Drake Kirkpatrick and Jordan Edmonds and Zion Gibson in that front with Mari, and just a bunch of names we're excited about today. Going up to Ohio, and matching up against Ohio State for the home and home series that's been agreed to. So, going to be interesting, man. Going to be interesting. We're going to talk about future matchups this Friday. Some of the future ones that we're excited about. We were supposed to be on with Hall of Fame Jason last night. I don't know what happened to his show, but he ain't never sent me no link or nothing. We'll figure out what's going on there. But yeah, I'm about to be at this gym. Got to record the workout. Got a client at 9. So once we get down there, we'll check in with y'all a little bit later. Y'all drop some comments in the chat. Let me know what topics y'all want to talk about this Friday. I want to have a good open calling segment again. It was fun last week. Want to do it again. Keep it going. Keep it consistent. I appreciate y'all for tapping in, whether you live or post live. Drop a comment. Let me know where you watch from. Put me in the game, Coach Smook, all that good stuff. Continue to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, y'all. We appreciate y'all. We're getting our numbers back up. Our algorithms helping us get back in there. And y'all are seeing it. So I appreciate y'all. I know we came a little bit earlier today. We might do another one. Walk and talk after them. Depends on how we feel. But y'all be blessed, man. And remember, when you see me in the streets, I'll say put me in the game, Coach Smook. Catch y'all on the next one.